going to, because I do have an office totally dedicated for just office. But at some point, I probably will like have a list of questions that I will compensate you for your knowledge.
So record it?
I was sending it to Zoom. I was setting it for YouTube.
Is it out there forever? Or do they remove it?
Yeah, we need to quit talking. But this is good to go.
He's having a private conversation. Let's listen.
Hey, ain't nobody want to know about my personal business. Let me go get that thing for you though. Anyway, that's what I thought. It made sense to me. But I get you want to have write-offs, but I'll pay taxes on the money I make. I got no problem with that. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? This is the example that I gave. Where she's a go country boy, makes lots of money. You just cannot comprehend what's to buy trucks, trailers, skids. What's not? I go, okay. Imagine this. You owe $100,000. So, you owe $30,000. So, okay, let's look at this. You have to go out and buy $100,000 piece of equipment to completely remove your tax on it.
What you're spending.
I said, so you just spent 100. I said, so spend the 30, keep 70,000 in the bank account. Done. Do whatever you want with it. That's not the point. He says, I want to have the asset. I said, I understand if you need it,
But not just because you want it.
not just because you, because that's it. So I said, if you need it, then you absolutely have to have it. I said, go get it. I said, but just to spend $100,000 out of your pocket, just to save $30,000 in taxes, is stupid. Don't. It probably took me his head. I understood that took 2 hours to explain him about it. It finally took. And then some, brought me $500,000 check. I'll take care of it. Okay. Yes.
There's 2021, 4 p.m. Zoom.
Should have looked at this before lunch here, so. Oop, are we on?
Yes. Everything's good to go.
You're not. Hello.
Afternoon.
Still getting a few things fired up here, so not quite ready. Okay, well, while we're getting ready, Mr. Clements, what attorneys or what witnesses will you have?
My client, Eric Cadell.
That it?
Yes.
And Ms. Robertson, what witnesses will you have?
I have Tammy Caudill, Your Honor.
And we have, okay, so Mr. Clements, is your client with you?
He is. Can you step over and things? See you. He's here.
Okay. Right. Okay. All right, then I'll call this case. Cause number 2019 L7291, the matter of the marriage of Eric Caudill and Tammy Caudill. Let me have everybody announce who's here.
Your Honor, I'm Greg Clements. I represent Eric Cadell.
Eric Caudill.
And I am Sharanda Robertson. I represent Tammy Caudill.
All right, so if I can get Mr. and Miss Caudill to raise your right hands. Do you and each of you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, and Miss Caudill is still muted, so we weren't able to hear what she said.
Still muted.
I'm here. I do.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right, so Mr. Clements, you represent the petitioner. What are you asking for today?
Your Honor, number one, we're asking that the divorce be granted. And and there's no children involved, it's property only. And I had an opportunity to speak with the opposing attorney this morning, well, not too long ago, and we actually have a proposal that we're willing to make. You know, I understand it's a little bit different now with Zoom, you know, typically in person, you know, we have the time to confer, but we have a proposal that if you want to entertain that, I would like to make sure, otherwise we're ready to, it's property division.
I mean, so Ms. Robertson, is this an agreed proposal or do the two of you need to talk?
Mr. Clements got a hold of me this morning for the first time to discuss this case, and any kind of proposals. I haven't heard a proposal from him. If he's willing to make that, we'll entertain it. But otherwise, they asked for the hearing. I haven't been representing Ms. Cottle for very long, but I know that she wants to finish this today. So,
Okay. Well, you could do it one of two ways. I can either step away or I could send the two of you into a waiting room and you discuss it.
You know, I think if we had 5 to 10 minutes, we may be able to resolve it. But I think on our side, within 10 minutes, we would know if we can resolve it or if we need your help.
Okay. So is it something the two of you want to talk about in the Zoom meeting, or do you want to get on the phone and talk to each other?
if
Makes
you're
no
in
difference to me.
the waiting room, that would work well.
Okay. Let me see. I'll use my highly technical skills and see if I can do it.
Thank you.
And Ms. Robertson, do you want Ms. Caudell in the room also?
Yes, please.
Okay. So I'll put all three people. Well, I thought I was going to do it. So I'm just going to sit here.
I have a pop-up to join your breakout room.
Okay. Should
I'm gonna hit join.
now. And now, of course, now I don't know if they're in or not. Okay.
He wasn't highlighted because he hadn't joined yet. And as soon as he joined, then it highlighted it green.
Okay. Yeah. You want to go back to the office? I go ahead. I'll sit here.
We'll talk about it later. I'll get the office.
Okay, Your Honor. Let's make sure, I'm not sure if everybody's back yet. It shows that you're muted.
Now I should be unmuted.
There we go. Hope they're all trying to leave the breakout room, I believe. Thank you very much for accommodating us via Zoom today, by the way.
Sure.
Unfortunately, we weren't able to reach an agreement. There's only a couple issues we'll need you to decide. There's not a lot, but
Let me track. I'm going to track down the court reporter.
okay. We've got my client back now.
If you want to come on in, they got a couple things to talk about.
Ms. Caudill, do you know in the breakout room if they were, oh, there we go. He's on now. Okay. You might want to unmute yourself too, just to be ready. There you go.
All right, Greg, it's back on. You might want to make it big because I have it small.
Hold on just a second. It said my video stopped.
Here we go.
Can you hear me?
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. I think I'm back.
All right, so then we'll go back on the record and where we left off with Mr. Clements. What are you asking for today?
Sir, we're asking for the property in Oklahoma and the mobile home on it. We're asking for, obviously it's a separate property, a home in Katy, Texas. And we're asking for the significant credit card debt, about $45,000. We're asking 50% be given to the petitioner, to the respondent. We'll take half of it.
So you're asking credit card debt to be split 50-50?
Yes. And we're asking for the property in Oklahoma. There is some equity in it. And we're asking that the equity be split 50-50 and my client be awarded the property.
So if you're saying he gets the property, but the equity split 50-50, it was just, you're saying her 50% would just be part of the division?
Yes, and that can certainly be offset by the credit card debt.
All right, anything else?
He has some separate property, and we would ask that be considered and stay his separate property of a home in Katy, Texas.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Clements?
There's a vehicle in question that we understand that it's been totaled, and there's an insurance claim, and we would ask that he be awarded the insurance claim on that vehicle. It's a 2015 Sonata.
And you have to speak up a little bit. 2015 what?
Sonata, Sonata.
And do you know how much the insurance claim is for?
It's roughly $7,000.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Clements?
I'm sorry, that's $3,500 for the Sonata. I had doubled that. I apologize.
So it's $7,000 insurance
No, it's 7,000. That's great. It's 7,000. Yeah. It's 7,000. And I believe that's all.
All right, and Ms. Robertson, what are you asking for?
So Your Honor, I don't know whether they pled for separate property. But regardless, we're willing to stipulate that the real estate property in Katy was purchased before the marriage. So we will stipulate that that's separate property and agree that that be awarded to Mr. Caudill. And same with the vehicle that is alleged to be totaled. That was purchased prior to the marriage. So we'll stipulate that's his separate property as well. The main issue is the property in Oklahoma. It was purchased during the marriage, and we're asking that be that it be ordered to be sold, and then any proceeds from that sale be split 50-50. We believe that's the most fair and clear way of handling that property. Another item would be the debt, the credit card debt. They're saying that there is credit card debt. Ms. Caudill is not aware of these credit cards, any amounts on those other than what they're saying. She's never had access to these cards, has not made purchases with these cards, so she's asking that debt be awarded to Mr. Caudill. And the only other item would be the rental income from the property that we're, agreeing is separate property, the Katy home. It's been being rented out. And so we're asking that he pay her a portion of that rental income, what she's due in terms of her community property from that. And then it's our understanding that he's renting out the community property in Oklahoma as well. And she would like what she's entitled to for that as well.
Does anybody have an evaluation of that Oklahoma property?
We do not, Your Honor, because she has not been able to have access to the property or, and she does not have any paperwork or information on that.
I mean, even for starters, is there whatever the equivalent of an appraisal district up there? Do they have a value on that?
I believe Mr. Clements searched for that, if I'm not mistaken. They don't operate like we do with an appraisal district, so it was difficult to find. My client believes that the current balance of the loan is around $56,000, but again, she's not exactly sure. So what we were asking in terms of splitting it is that the order would say that they can find a mutually agreeable real estate broker who would determine the fair market value of the home and then list it, that the property be sold to the first offer within 5% of that fair market value listing price. And that any price reductions necessary would be determined by that real estate broker, as well as any repairs necessary to sell the property that the real estate broker recommends. And then they split any proceeds 50-50 after real estate agent fees, closing fees, or any repairs.
And Mr. Clements, on the property in Oklahoma, do you have, a ballpark value on what you're saying it's worth?
What we know is that 3 years ago, it was worth $77,000. Part of that was a mobile home. So, and with the situation, we would be in line with 70,000. We would be comfortable with the, with the total value being 70,000.
Okay, and you also think the loan is about 56?
Between 56 and 60, yes.
Ms. Caudill believes it to be about 56,000. They purchased the property again 3 years ago for 70,000, and then they also purchased a mobile home on the property that's worth, that they purchased for 7,000. So we would imagine that the property with the mobile home is worth quite a bit more than 70. Hopefully, it's appreciated in the last few years. Plus, it has the improvement of the mobile home that would sell with it. But we also don't know the terms of sale, whether that was a arm's length sale or what kind of deal they got on that property or how the market might have changed. That's what we would need the order to mention a real estate broker determining the fair market value.
So when it was purchased, was the land purchased for 70,000 and then the mobile home put on it?
Yes, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, the land was purchased for 70,000 and there was already a mobile home on it that was purchased from an individual for 7,000.
I know usually mobile homes don't appreciate too much.
Right.
So, I mean, you're thinking there's somewhere between $10,000-$15,000 equity. Is that?
We're thinking at least 15,000 in equity. Hopefully closer to 20 to 30, but without a real estate agent giving us that fair market value, it's difficult to tell.
And just looking ahead at the trial today, I realize parties can give testimony as to what they think the value of their own property is, but does either side can have much to base this on other than, again, I think it's worth 70 or I think it's worth 80.
We have what was paid for, and honestly, there was a $20,000 down payment that was made with this separate property, a loan from the home in Katy. But I don't have anything that I'm comfortable with saying what the value is today, other than it was purchased 3 years ago for 70,000 full market value.
Okay. I mean, when I'm thinking ahead, frankly, it sounds like it's going to be hard for me to, put a value on this property if that's essentially what the testimony is going to be.
Turner, if I may ask Adel for the address of that property, I can look on Zillow.com. It's a national valuation service. I don't know exactly how accurate it is. I'm willing to get at least an estimated value from that.
Okay. And I can't remember, I know one of the parties, either Mr. Clements or Ms. Robertson, earlier when we were talking was saying that the party really wants to get this done today or as soon as possible. Because it sort of sounds like there's still some evidence that needs to be exchanged. If Miss Caudell saying she's never seen the credit card debt or statements, how far back with those statements, how long have the parties been married?
Just a few years, Your Honor. I believe they were married in 2016. Is that right, Ms. Caudell?
2015.
That's 15.
Okay, so about 5 years. I mean, is it something that, is Miss Caudell, on that credit card? I mean, is the account in her name also?
Your Honor, it's my understanding that the account is in Mr. Caudell's name. However, we believe there's been cards issued to her in her name.
Okay. I mean, is that something that if her name is on the account, that she would have the ability to go in, and look online at statements just to look at some of these charges?
So, Your Honor, Ms. Caudell's position is she's never been given a credit card for these accounts. She wasn't even aware they existed. So she's not aware of being on any of these accounts. And as far as the property value, if we word the order in a way that it just be sold and split 50-50, we don't know the exact value of it, the fair market value, but she's willing to have the property sold and any net proceeds be split half and half.
And again, I have no idea what the property looks like. I mean, so what if appoint a broker and the broker is going to come up with the fair market value, is Ms. Caudell's going to, live with that? So, I mean, potentially, if Mr. Caudell wants the property, if the broker says, okay, the whole thing is worth 70,000 and there's 56 alone. So again, the balance is 14. And so if he pays her 7,000, she's going to be okay with that.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And I know Mr. Clements, I know you said you wanted the equity split 50-50. So is there an opposition, or what is the opposition to just have a broker determine a fair market value and see if there's any takers?
We have no opposition to that.
I mean, I'm almost wondering if we should put off the final for a little bit, get that done, get a broker appointed, determine the fair market value, have both the parties are going to be ordered to sign a contract to sell the thing at the price that the broker determines, and kind of see what the market is. I mean, I have no idea if it's going to sell fast or if it's never going to sell or have to be constantly reduced. And in between that time, let Miss Caudell investigate this credit card a little bit. So I guess
I believe we can assist with the credit cards. I believe we're going to be able to, I believe I'll be able to present the other side with information on the credit cards.
Okay. So, I mean, Mr. Clements, you believe Ms. Caudell has made charges or gotten a benefit?
Yes.
Okay.
And Ms. Caudell vehemently denies that.
Right. And so again, I'm just thinking if we proceed today with the trial, what's this evidence going to look like where, petitioner is going to say she's charged a couple $1,000s and she says, no, I haven't. Am I just going to have to decide who's telling the truth, or what type of documents do we have? Evidence is there going to be to support one side or the other?
I agree, Your Honor. I mean, I don't know what kind of proof they would submit to show that the charges were her. She's saying she's testifying under oath. She doesn't, know anything about them, but this case has been going on for quite a while. They were the ones that asked for this final trial date. And I'm not sure that it would be fair to Ms. Caudell to, allow more time or more, putting this off even further. I know that she wants to move on with her life, and she believes that, what we're asking for is the most fair way to do things, is just sell the property and split, whatever it might be worth, and stipulate that the home and the vehicle are his separate property, even though we're not sure they pled for that. But, and then talk about, the rental income that she knows is Mr. Caudell has been receiving.
Well, and again, and I may be overthinking this, but I'm thinking if this credit card was issued, during the marriage, or at least if you're looking at debt for the past 5 years, and he's going to say she made these charges, and she's going to say no, I didn't. If the presumption is going to be that that's a community debt, what evidence should I be looking for to overcome the community presumption?
I understand, Your Honor. I mean, all we can have is her testimony. If they were to present bank statements, credit card statements, if they would have presented that before today, that would have been helpful. But it's difficult that they asked for this trial date and then came to trial mentioning these credit cards we've never heard of, without any sort of proof or statements. Does not seem very fair to Ms. Caudell. I believe that Mr. Caudell is in the middle of a lawsuit for one of those cards. He's been served, and Mr. Clements represents him in that suit. Ms. Caudill has no knowledge of that. She's not been a party to that suit.
Well, and that's why I was asking whether or not we're really, ripe to go to a final today. I mean, if both sides want to go to a final, I'll hear the evidence and make the decision based on the evidence that's presented. That's why I was wondering if both sides needed a little bit more time, but I thought what I heard from Ms. Robertson is you saying, no, you want to do it today and have it done. So was I hearing things correctly?
That's Ms. Caudill's wish, is that, we finish this. I mean, we've heard Mr. Clement's proposal. We're willing to talk again if they'd like, but we don't want to continue dragging this out any longer with them, having asked for trial today. And
Okay. Well, then, if I understand from both sides, it sounds like both sides are in agreement that we can appoint a broker in Oklahoma to determine a fair market value and then just order the parties to sign a contract. And we'll have to come up with some time period that if there's no offers, then the price will be reduced until there's a buyer. So it sort of sounds like it's the credit card debt and the rental property are the issues. So.
right, it sounds like we're in agreement with the real estate property, including the trailer. It's more so there's some personal property at the home in Katy. There's some rental income on both properties, and I believe that would be it.
Okay. All right. Well, we can just proceed. So I'll have a number in mind when we get started. Mr. Clements, what do you believe and is it one credit card or multiple credit card debt that we're talking about?
No, it's going to be. There's going to be 5 credit cards.
And what do you show the total amount of debt to be?
Very close to 44,000, Your Honor.
And then, Ms. Robertson, do you have any number in mind as far as the rental income from the Katy or Oklahoma property?
Both parties agree that the Katy home has been being rented out for $1,200 a month since. I know it's been a few years. I would have to ask Ms. Caudill about the exact date, but it's been $1,200 a month for a while. We don't know how much he's been receiving in rent from his son for the Oklahoma property.
All right, well, both parties have been sworn, so Mr. Clements, you may proceed.
I call Tammy Cadill.
Here. Yes.
Yeah. Hi, Ms. Cadill. My name is Greg Clements. And may I call you Ms. Cadill?
Yes.
I may be mispronouncing it, but
Caudill.
Cadill. Okay, I'm sorry.
Mr. Clements, you have to either speak up or.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. When did you, would you state your name for the record?
My name is Tammy Caudill.
Okay, and you're currently married to Eric Caudill?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and when were you married?
September 2015.
Okay, and were there any children born to this marriage?
No,
Were any children adopted?
no,
Are you pregnant at this time?
no.
Okay. You've heard talk about the property in Oklahoma. Are you aware of that property in Oklahoma?
Yes, I am.
What county is it in?
Pottawatomie County.
Pottawatomie County, okay. And Did you and Mr. Caudill buy that while you were married?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And do you know whether your name's on that deed or not?
Yes, it is.
Your name is on the deed? Okay.
Yes, I have the deed.
Okay, okay. Do you know whether that land was financed or did y'all pay cash for it?
Financed.
Okay, and who financed it?
The loan is in Eric's name.
Who gave the loan?
Vision
Was
Bank,
it a bank?
Vision Bank.
It was a bank? Okay. Are you on the loan for that property?
No,
And do you know why you're not on that loan?
probably because my credit didn't meet up to their standards.
So your husband, at the time, Mr. Caudill, had good credit, correct?
I can't answer that. I don't know.
Did he have credit good enough to be able to secure a loan for that property
Yes.
without your name, okay, without your name on it?
Yes.
Were you told by the creditor to leave your name off because they may not be able to finance it with your name on it?
And
I'm not aware of that.
Okay. Do you know what the amount of the note was when y'all purchased the property?
I don't have the documents in front of me at this moment.
Do you know what the price of the loan was at the time y'all bought this property?
I just said I don't have the documents. I know that
Non-responsive.
we put 10,000 down on it when we purchased it, not 20. I know that. And it was around 76,000, I believe, when we purchased it.
Okay. He said that we put down 10,000. Is that correct?
There was a check that Eric presented for 10,000.
Okay. Where did that money come from?
I was working and he was working. I assume it came from both of us.
Do you know where it came from?
I don't.
Okay. Do you know if Mr. Caudill took a mortgage out on his separate property in Katy to secure that money?
I know that there was a home equity loan taken out on the Katy property that I had to sign.
Okay, and that home equity loan, was that used to purchase the property?
$10,000 of it I know was used on the Katy house for remodeling purposes. I don't know if it was all used. Some of it was used in Oklahoma.
Okay,
objections or testimony, Your Honor, about this because there was no separate property pleadings from Mr. Caudill. That's irrelevant.
Thank you.
Objection sustained.
as to the $10,000 that was paid for the promissory note, was any of that your separate property?
I'll object to that as well as irrelevant, Your Honor, because we haven't pled for separate property.
Okay, well, I'll allow that just to come in so I can get an idea of what happened when this was purchased. So you
Okay.
can answer if you know.
I don't understand the question.
Okay, let me rephrase it. Of the 10, you said that $10,000 was paid as a down payment on the property in Oklahoma. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you'd indicated that Mr. Caudill presented that check. Is that correct?
Yes, he took the money out of our bank account and presented them with a cashier's check.
Okay. And do you know how that money got into your bank account?
Some of it, I guess it was the home equity money, but we also had money there. So I couldn't say that it was just the home equity money.
But it was, some of the home equity money did go for the down payment?
I'm to mention that I'm going to object that is irrelevant because again, Mr. Caudill has not pled for any separate property. So this is irrelevant, an irrelevant line of questioning, and you've already sustained that earlier.
Objection sustained.
You heard mention of some credit card debt. Did you hear about the credit card debt in today's talks?
Excuse me?
Are you aware that there is credit card debt?
No, I'm not aware
So as you speak right now, you don't know of any credit card debt that is out there?
I have no access to any of his accounts. His name, he's the only one on them, so how, I do not know.
Objection, non-responsive.
Objection sustained.
What?
Do you know of any credit card debts at this time that's between you and Eric?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, if you're talking to me.
I do not have access to any of his credit card records, so I cannot answer this question, sir.
Objection, non-responsive.
Restate your question.
Other than what you're saying, I do not have record.
Okay, other than the 44,000 that we talked about earlier, you don't have any records?
I don't have any records of the 44,000 as well.
Misleading.
Are you aware that there is some credit card debt that was acquired during your marriage?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and how are you aware of that?
Because we, I guess, paid some of the bills with our money out of our account.
So all along, you've known that there was credit card debt, correct?
I thought Eric paid off our credit cards monthly, so I do not know of the balances.
Okay, and you just said our credit cards. Did you
Okay.
not, did you say that?
Okay, I'm saying because it was our bank account that paid the credit card.
Okay, but you said that our credit cards, did you ever use those credit cards?
When Eric would send me to Home Depot to get items for his property maintenance company, I've used the credit cards.
And the
Other than
credit card,
I did not have credit cards in my name. Those accounts are in his name.
but you use those credit cards, correct?
I used the Home Depot card for him and probably the Lowe's card for him. That's about all that he allowed me to do.
Okay, and did he give you the card with his name in it, or did you actually have a card with your name on it?
I didn't have a card in my name.
How did you purchase things and with a card that didn't have your name on it?
Well, at Lowe's and Home Depot, I just used his card.
Okay, so you did use his card. Okay,
He did give me permission to use those to go get items for him.
okay. Did you ever buy anything for yourself or for the both of you with those cards?
I am not aware of that.
Did you ever buy groceries with those
No.
cards?
No, sir.
Is there a Walmart in Shawnee, Oklahoma?
Yes, there is.
Did you ever make purchases at Walmart in Shawnee, Oklahoma with any one of those cards?
Could you tell me which credit card you're talking about, sir?
No, the Chase card, the ending in 2894.
That was our bank account,
Okay,
as
Did
far as
you-
I'm aware of. And so I used our Chase bank account card at Walmart.
okay. And what was that for?
Well, I have no idea what I would have bought at Walmart.
Okay, but you bought something at Walmart using his credit card.
The Chase cards was our bank account card. We both had a Chase bank account card.
Was it a debit card or a credit card?
As far as I know, it's a debit card, which was a Chase card.
Okay, so if it's a debit card, there should be no debt on it now, correct?
Well, Eric closed out that bank account and took the 13,000 out of that bank account, and I have no access to any of the money.
Objection, non-responsive.
Action sustained.
I need a break.
There was talk earlier about, are you familiar with a 2015 Sonata vehicle?
Yes,
Okay. And did you report it stolen?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to the relevance of this testimony. We've already stipulated Mr. Caudill's separate property, so that's not an issue here.
Okay, so what
Your
is that?
Honor, there's some money that's that's potentially a claim on insurance that Ms. Caudill filed the claim. We just want to make sure that it goes to the proper person.
Okay, but I believe that Ms. Robertson stated they're going to stipulate that that's his separate property, so he would get all the money from that claim.
Okay. Good. Ms. Cardell, you indicated that you have spent some money at the Walmart in Shawnee with Mr. Cardell's credit cards. Do you know approximately how much you
Your
spent?
Honor, that he's misquoting the witness. She never said that she used his credit card at a Walmart. She testified that she used their debit card at Walmart.
Objection sustained.
Are you familiar with the Sears credit card, Ms. Cardell?
Yes, Eric had a Sears credit card.
Okay. And did you ever use that Sears credit card?
No,
Okay.
only when we were together. That was his
Okay,
card.
so-
I was with him when he purchased items.
Okay. Did you actually sign the card, or did he sign them?
He signed them.
Every time? You don't have any credit cards that you signed with Sears?
No,
Okay.
I don't- Sears card.
You what?
No.
Excuse me, I didn't hear you. No.
I do
Okay.
not have, I don't have a Sears card.
Okay. You indicated you were married in 2015. At
Right.
some point in time, did you and Mr. Cardell separate?
Yes,
Do you know when that was?
it was right after our anniversary, September 11th in 2018, I believe.
Okay, so approximately, okay, so roughly 3 years after your marriage, y'all separated?
Yes,
Okay, at the time you separated, where were you living? Or where were both of y'all living at the time that y'all were together before you separated?
Sealy, Texas.
Y'all moved down to Sealy?
Yes,
Okay. And when you separated, did you stay in Sealy?
no,
Where did you go?
women's shelter in Galveston, Texas.
Okay. When you went down to Galveston, did you have any of those credit cards with you?
No,
So there is no charges in Galveston that you ever made?
no, not that I'm aware of.
Okay. At some point in time, are you in Oklahoma right now?
Yes,
Okay. So at some point in time, I believe you said that you were living in Sealy, you separated and moved to Galveston. Is that correct?
yes,
And that was shortly, approximately your third anniversary. Is that correct?
yes,
Okay. At some point in time, you moved to Oklahoma. Do you know, is that true?
yes.
Do you know when you moved back to Oklahoma?
I don't have an exact year when I came back here to Oklahoma.
Okay.
I'm trying to think when I left the Attorney General's office in Richmond where I was working. I know I was back in Oklahoma in 2019. I went to a women's shelter in Oklahoma as well for abuse.
Okay. You indicated that you at least used a debit card at Walmart in Shawnee, Oklahoma. Do you know when that was?
No,
Where were you living at the time you got married?
Oklahoma.
And when did you move to Sealy?
Let me think. 2017, 18, 2018. So yeah, I don't have all the dates.
So did you, maybe I misunderstood you. Did you not say you moved to Sealy in 2015? But you moved to Sealy?
No. We were married in 2015. We moved to Katy, Texas in 2016. moved to Oklahoma in 2017. Moved to Sealy 2018.
Okay. Are you familiar with FNB Omaha credit card?
Pardon?
Are you familiar with an Omaha bank credit card?
No, is that his home equity credit card?
No.
Okay, then I'm not familiar.
Okay, and you never charged anything on the Omaha credit card?
I don't know. You'd have to show me what it looks like, what it is.
Okay. But you may have?
I possibly could have. I don't know.
Okay.
But it would have been in his name, his credit card.
Yes.
What I'm
Yes, so,
saying, he
every
would ask me to go purchase things, to pick up things. At some point during our marriage, I was not working.
That question is being speculative. He asked, you may have, for her to answer that would be speculation.
Okay, objections overruled.
I pass the witness.
All right. So, do you take a break? Okay, let's take a short break, and I'll just, let both sides know looks like we had about 30 minutes scheduled for this today, and I have another Zoom hearing coming up in about an hour. So we're either gonna have to try to finish this up in an hour or continue at another time, but let's take about a 10-minute break.
Thank you.
Your understanding can be placed into a breakout room, Ms. Caudill and I.
Sure.
Thank you.
If I'm able to do it. Okay, let's see.
That's his office.
Okay, I'm not understanding why it shows Mr. Clements in here. I don't know who's listening, but this is strange. I don't know why. Okay, anyway. Yeah, I don't feel comfortable discussing things right now because it says we're live on YouTube. And
Okay.
Mr. Clements is in the breakout room. So I will, do you have access to your email?
Yes, the twins' mom. Yes.
Okay. I will email you in here in just a second, okay?
Okay. So you don't want me to say anything to you?
Yeah, it's we're live on, so let's just, for privacy's sake, I'll email you.
I'm gonna have to cut over to look at the email, I guess.
That's
okay. Just let me know when.
I'm not able to get people in breakout rooms.
That's okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to my email.
Okay, click on her. No, no. When you click on their name, it said move to. Click into, and then her, number 2, breakout room 2. And now it's saying that Greg Clements is, so see if you click on Greg Clements, so they should be in the breakout room.
Yes, now do I hit open?
No, hold on. They should be in the breakout room.
I can still see Miss Robertson.
Okay, you open all of them.
There we go. Ms. Caudill, if you could join the breakout room too.
Oh, okay.
But then-
I can still see. Whoops, now I can't.
Just take some time.
Okay.
If you go to Greg Clements, not join, I think you need to go to
Okay,
his.
so join the breakout room.
Yes.
Okay.
So go next to.
Am I here, Judge? Am I here? No. Okay, I guess I'm here. You're muted, but I think I'm here. It's asking me to join a breakout room. I don't think I want to go in the breakout room. I can't hear you, so you must be muted. Oh,
Miss Roberts wanted to be in a breakout room, so
okay, good. I just let you know I'm back in. So.
you stay there, and I'm going to mute myself.
Okay, good deal.
I'm gonna run my search.
What all did you need from me?
A medical warrant.
I'd like to pick somebody up.
No, our daughter, she say Jaquela, Porter,
Okay.
okay, like she go outside, wanna smoke a cigarette, she wound up walking down the highway.
Have you, talked to the people from MHMR, mental health? Is that what you're trying to get?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes,
So
yes.
have you,
She been in tech center all the time, but she still do the same thing.
okay.
So that there is like they told us that there's like a power of attorney. So we try to keep her from walking the road.
Yeah.
She gets on 13, we are you familiar with Sealand?
Yeah. I got to tell you, I'm starting this thing up in a couple of minutes, so I'm still not sure what you want to get.
A medical warrant.
Like a mental health warrant?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The people will draw it up, will be up in the DA's office. So go up to the DA's office and see if they can draw it up. They're gonna have to get some information from you.
Who is that with?
Just go up to the DA's office on the 3rd floor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go to his office. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, man.
Hey, hon, welcome back. I'm assuming you're back. Okay. Oh no. Well, is it good? Is it a good tire because playing with all the kids? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yes, right. If you can set it up, that's perfectly fine. If you can, do you know how to set up a Zoom meeting to create a Zoom meeting? Well, the answer is yes, but somebody has to create a Zoom meeting. So somebody will have to go to zoom.com and set up the meeting. Set a meeting like tonight at 7 o'clock for 30 minutes, and then they'll give a number. It'll get this big long number, and then you give that number to Ed, and then he can log on his phone. Well, I think you can do them on a phone. I've never done it on a phone. I've always done it on a laptop. But I think you can. You could probably do it on your iPad. Okay, you have to download the Zoom app. So yes, do that on your iPad. Oh, okay. Or if there is a computer, do you want to be at the house, or is it Ed is gone? What do you? I see. Okay. Yeah, he can. Well, and got your vote. Sean, you got Sean's proxy. Is William going to vote along what you want to happen? Well, all that's saying, that was just acknowledging that he knows there is a meeting tonight. If he would even just do it over his phone, all we really want, I thought all we really want to accomplish tonight is just to add, appoint Mary and BJ and take off Sean and William. Okay, so we could probably do all that even by FaceTime. But if you could get either a laptop or on your iPad, find the Zoom app, and then you'll go in there and you'll set up a meeting. So you'll say tonight at 7 o'clock. Okay. All right. Bye. Okay. Bye. I'm just not compatible. Well, they got too much energy for it. I was gonna say they always had.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Ms. Cottle, you're
Okay.
muted. Or take that off.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll just wait for the judge to get back.
Okay, so I'm back now. My reporter's not back yet, but as soon as she runs back in, we can start up. And while she's coming in, time-wise, Mr. Clements, how much longer do you think you're going to need on your case?
I probably need 10, 15 minutes on my client, and then whatever, if I redirect, I don't know.
And Ms. Robertson, about how much time do you think you'd need?
I estimate about 15 to 20 minutes with my first witness, and then same as Mr. Clements said, I'm not sure what will happen after that, so not too long.
Okay, so, I mean, we think by like 3:30-ish, we can have it all wrapped up, about 40 minutes.
I'm hoping so, Your Honor. Yes, sir.
I would think that's very reasonable.
And I tell you what, while we're waiting for her to come in, does anybody either know a real estate person up in Pottawatomie County or?
Yes.
Okay, I mean, I think you're either going to get the two of you to suggest somebody or I'll appoint somebody.
Can I talk?
What is the name, Ms. Caudill, of the one that you suggest?
I actually have to look her up, but Eric and I did use her when we were looking for property to purchase, and I think he liked her as well, but I'll have to look her up online to get her name. She's a broker and everything, so I don't know if he remembers her name.
Do you know the name of the company?
I don't off the top of my head.
Okay.
I could jump on the internet and try to see if I can find it. I don't know. It's a lady out of Tecumseh, and Eric had met her. Like I said, I can't think of her name.
I realize you can't commit to anything without knowing the name, but based on that description, Mr. Clements, the woman that was used during the purchase of the property, is that somebody that you think would be agreeable?
What I just found out is there was no real estate agent used on the purchase. This may have been someone that to help them look, but there was no agent or real estate firm when they bought the property. Or we would certainly use whoever it was used.
Can I speak?
Sure.
It was just a broker that we had talked to, and she showed us some other properties before we bought the land out in Bethel. So I don't know if he remembers her now. I can look her up online at some point.
He does not remember.
Okay. She was a lady with a long blonde hair that met us a few times and showed us some houses to purchase.
All right, so we'll go back on the record, and Ms. Robertson, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to call, Ms. Caudill was, I'll ask her some questions here. Ms. Caudill, the property in Oklahoma, do you have access to that property right now?
No, I do not.
And why?
His son will not allow me access to the barn or to the land or to the trailer. He's renting the property from Eric, I believe.
Do you know how much he's paying Mr. Caudill in rent?
He started renting it in 2018. He was Eric had asked for $500 a month, and he was supposed to transfer the electric in his name as well.
Objection, non-responsive.
Objection's overruled.
And in terms of separate property, we've stipulated that there is a home in Katy, Texas that was purchased by Mr. Caudill prior to the marriage. Who's living in that home right now?
It's being rented out.
Okay.
It's being managed by a property management company.
And do you know when y'all started renting out that home in Katy, Texas?
Yes, when we moved,
Objection, the comment, it's been stipulated as separate property. I object to calling it y'all when y'all rented it out. This is his separate property.
All right, why don't you rephrase your question, Ms. Roberts?
Ms. Caudill, do you know when that property began being rented out?
in 2017.
And do you know the approximate or exact amount of rent per month that was being rented out for?
$1,200 a month.
All right. And how do you know that that property is being rented out for $1,200 a month?
I had to sign a document from the property management company agreeing to it.
Okay. And with regard to the credit cards, do you currently have any knowledge of any credit cards in your name to date from the time you were married in 2015 to now?
No, I do not. I have terrible credit. I didn't have any credit cards before. So
You testified earlier that you went to Home Depot and Lowe's as the only times that you used credit cards with. Were those the only times you used credit cards with Mr. Caudill's names on them?
yes,
And approximately how many times did you use those cards at Home Depot and at Lowe's?
approximately 3.
And do you remember approximately what you purchased with those cards?
It was items to redo our shower in the Katy house, probably putty, items for the roof of the Katy house for repairs, possibly some tile
Okay.
and maybe paint. I don't have everything. No.
Who usually collected mail at the home where you and Mr. Caudill lived while married?
I went to the post, the mailbox most of the time, I guess.
Mr. Caudill, in 2015, have you ever seen a single credit card bill?
I have no. We didn't receive items in the mail for no.
And did you ever have any access besides those 3 times that you went to Home Depot and Lowe's? Have you ever had any access to any other credit cards?
No.
And do you have any way of knowing what the balances on these alleged credit cards are?
No, I do not.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just that the accounts were all in his name. He had a password. I had no access to any of this information.
So besides what Mr. Caudill has mentioned today as the credit card balances, do you have any way of finding out what those balances are?
No, those credit card, whichever companies he's talking about, they won't give me any information. I even tried to find out information on the car, how much was owed, and they wouldn't give me that information.
Do you have any way of knowing, of obtaining statements for any of these alleged credit cards?
No, I do not. It's under his name, his email account, and his passwords.
Do you have any reason to believe that these credit cards he's mentioning today even exist?
I'm not sure what credit cards he's mentioning today, but I do know that there was a Lowe's and a Home Depot credit card accounts.
Okay. But is it your testimony that you have no idea what the balance on those cards are or if they're even still open today?
That is true. I have no idea.
Do you have any credit cards that in your possession today?
No, I do not.
Have you had any credit cards in your possession since 2015, other than the one that you said you used at Lowe's and Home Depot 3 times since your
No.
marriage?
No, I do not. No, I have not. Um,
And are you asking the court today to appoint a mutually agreeable real estate broker to sell and split the home, the property with the mobile home on it in Oklahoma,
yes, I am.
and to split the proceeds from that sale half and half between you and Mr. Caudill?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Are you asking the court to award you an amount that you're entitled to for rental income that Mr. Caudill has received since you were married and since the home began being rented out in 2017?
Yes, I am.
Do you have an amount that you're asking the court to award you?
Half of the amount he's collected since 2017.
Okay.
Should be half of.
I have no other questions for Ms. Caudill at this moment, Your Honor.
Mr. Clements?
Just a couple, Your Honor. Did you testify that you only used the Lowe's and the Home Depot 3 times? Was that 3 times altogether, or 3 times for each one?
3 times for each one, possibly.
Okay, but,
This
does
is
that-
it's an estimate.
okay, and does that, so the estimate could be more or it could be less, is that correct?
If it's more, it's not many more.
Okay, how many more could it be?
One.
Okay.
We usually
And
went
did
to.
you, okay, are those numbers, are you counting the time that you testified that you were with Mr. Caudill and you used the cards while he was there?
Yes.
Why would you use his card while he was there?
Because he has his hands full with the items and stuff like that. So he would hand me the card and just tell me to swipe it. And usually we just do a little squiggly, something like that to sign.
How many times, if you recall, was he there when you used the card?
Several.
More than 3?
At least 2. Oh, when he used the card or when I used the card?
When you used it, when he was present with you, how many times did that happen?
Yeah, several times. Not
More?
just 3 is what you're saying.
No, I'm asking.
Oh yes, more than 3. I used it when he was there.
Okay.
When
So
he was.
Okay, so when you testified that you used the card 2, maybe 3 times, you testifying that was when he was not there, or does that include the times he was there with you?
That is when I say 2 to 3 times, that's when he had sent me to the store to pick up items when we were remodeling the home.
Okay, so what, if I hear you, then you would have signed at least 6 credit cards for each one, 3 when he was there, 3 when he was not there. Am I understanding you correctly? If you know.
I do not know.
Okay. As to the, do you know who rents the house in Katy?
No, I do not.
Do you know if it's been rented every month since the 2017?
No.
What type of document did you sign acknowledging that the rent was $1,200? Was it a lease agreement?
Eric hired a property management company to manage the money that came in from the Katy property because we'd moved to Oklahoma. And I had to sign that form, that document, agreeing, I guess, to the rent.
Okay,
And then the next year, the property management company contacted me in 2019 to re-sign that agreement.
Okay, I pass witness.
Ms. Roberts?
I have no further questions for Ms. Caudill, Your Honor.
Let me ask just a couple. Ms. Caudell, on that Katy property, do you know, is that paid off or is there still a note on that?
I have no access to that, Your Honor, so I do not know.
And I mean, when you said it was $1,200 a month, that would be the, you know, the gross that would come in. Do you have any idea what expenses there might be, or, you know,
I
kind of-
believe, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm just
I believe the property management company was collecting $100 and that they were to send $1,200 after that to manage that. And then I think Eric usually did any kind of repairs that needed to be completed on the house.
Okay, so, I mean, as far as you know, is that $1,200 a month that was collected for rent, that would be a net amount? I mean, Mr. Caudell would get $1,200. There wouldn't be other expenses.
This is true. That's true.
Okay. And do you have any credit cards now?
No, sir.
So if you go and get gas this afternoon, how do you pay for it?
Cash or cash, yeah.
Okay, so any transactions you have now are cash?
Yes.
All right, anybody have any other questions for Ms. Caudell?
No,
I
Your
have
Honor.
none.
All right, so if not, Mr. Clements, you can call your next.
Harry Caudell.
And we just have to be careful that he's so far away from the computer that we have to be able to hear him.
Okay,
I'll try to speak up.
can you hear him?
Can you hear me now?
Not real clear.
Take his mess. Sorry.
Is that better?
But that's a little better. We'll see how it works.
Okay.
Ms. Caudell, you've heard the testimony. When were you married?
September 2015.
Okay. And at the time you were married, you did not own that property in Oklahoma, is that correct?
That is correct.
When did the two of you buy that property in Oklahoma?
Around July of 2015.
Okay, shortly after the marriage?
No, it was, no, July of 2017.
Okay, so roughly 2 years after the marriage?
Correct.
And did you pay cash for the property or did you finance it?
We put money down and financed it.
Okay, and how much money did you put down?
We had a $20,000 home equity loan that I took out on the Katy property to secure the down payment and some other expenses that we had.
Okay, so how much actually went of that $20,000 on home equity? How much actually went to the purchase of the property and the real property that we're speaking of?
The actual check was $12,600 and something.
Okay, so $12,600 from the rental property went.
The home equity loan to the down payment on the property.
Okay, and do you know of any real estate agents in Potawatomi?
No, I do not.
Okay. Let's talk about the credit card debt a little bit. What type of credit do you have right now?
Not very good because of the credit card debt.
Okay, and I believe, how many credit cards have debt going that were credit cards during the marriage?
We had the five credit cards that I knew about, and what's the rest of the question? 5 credit cards.
They were all issued during the marriage?
They was issued during the marriage. Account was in my name. Tammy and I both had cards with our names on them.
So Tammy had cards on every credit card with her name on it, or just some of them?
Some of them.
Which ones did she have her name on the credit cards?
I know the two Chase credit cards, the Barclays and the FNB.
Okay, now the FNB, let's talk about that. Is there a lawsuit pending on that?
Yes, there is.
And how much is the debt on that one?
I think it's either 15 or 17,000.
Okay, and do you know what was purchased with that card?
I have no idea.
Did you apply and receive that card?
Yes, I applied and received it, but I never activated it.
You did
And
not activate it?
we cannot understand what the answer was.
Oh, I applied for it. It came through the same bank as the car was financed through. We received the card, but it was never activated. It was supposed to be an emergency credit card.
Did you ever use that card for any purchase?
No, I did not know it was even activated.
You did not use that card for any cash advances?
No,
But you're in a lawsuit now for roughly $15,000 that is owed on it?
yes,
Okay, and do you know who charged or who used that credit card?
no, the first knowledge I had of it was the lawsuit.
Okay, but you know that you did not charge anything?
Correct.
Okay. I pass witness.
Ms. Robertson?
Mr. Caudill, you're mentioning that you are currently a defendant in a lawsuit for a Barclays credit card, correct?
Yes,
Are you the only defendant in that lawsuit?
yes.
How is it possible that you are the only defendant and Ms. Caudill is not a defendant if you testified earlier? Let me rephrase that. You testified earlier, did you not, that you had the 5 credit cards of which she also had each one in her name, correct?
Correct.
And so your testimony that you are the sole defendant in this lawsuit, do you not think Ms. Caudill should be in that lawsuit?
The card was solely in my name. She was a signer on the account.
Yet she's not listed as a defendant, correct?
Correct.
All right. And you said that you had no recollection of ever spending anything on that card, correct?
Correct.
Ms. Caudill testified that she does not have a card in her name, correct? For that account.
Correct.
And yet, did you ever report this credit card for fraud?
The credit card mailing address on that was an Oklahoma house. So I suppose they sent the information to the Oklahoma house.
To Mr. Clemens being non-responsive.
Okay, restate your question.
Mr. Caudill, did you ever report that credit card for having fraudulent charges on it?
No,
Why not?
I didn't know the card was even activated. And the statements was being sent to the Oklahoma address.
Right. So if you didn't know the card was activated, but suddenly there was a lawsuit, why did you not report that to the authorities as credit card fraud?
I presume that it was Tammy that was using the card.
Do you know is it your testimony that the 5 credit cards that you're mentioning today as part of this divorce, were those all purchased after the marriage, or were any of them taken out before the marriage?
The Federal National Bank of Omaha was took out after. The Chase card was took out after.
So only 2 of the 5 were obtained during the marriage?
Correct.
And have you presented any statements, any credit card statements, any exact amounts for these credit cards in any evidence today?
No, I have not.
All right. Your Honor, I'll go ahead and pass Mr. Caudill.
I don't see anything else.
Ms. Caudill, you testified that 2 of the cards were taken out after the marriage, is that correct?
That is correct.
And one of them was at least activated after the marriage?
That is correct.
And the other two were you had prior to the marriage?
Yes,
Do you know what the balance was at the time of the marriage?
it was approximately $3,000. It was associated with the honeymoon cost.
Okay, and of the 3 cards, you owed about $3,000?
Out of all the cards, it was about 3,000, just shy of.
Okay, of all the cards, you owed $3,000? Okay. I pass with that.
Ms. Robertson, anything else?
Mr. Caudill, how much, well, let me rephrase that. You've been receiving $1,200 per month for the Katy, Texas property home. Is that correct? Since,
That is
and
correct.
I'm sorry, and that's been,
The last few months, it's been reduced to 1170.
so do you know what month in 2017 that home began being rented?
It was towards the end of the year because it set for several months after we moved to Oklahoma before we rented.
Would it be fair to say September of 2017?
Probably November. It was right at the end of the year.
And the home in the property in Oklahoma has been being rented out to your son for $500 a month. Is that correct?
It's being occupied. There's he pays when he can. He's doing a lot of sweat equity, and even the 450 barely covers the payment and insurance.
Okay, so he's been paying about $450 a month.
Yes,
And do you know when he moved into that property?
mid-year 2018.
Okay. All right, I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Mr. Clements, anything else?
I believe we're good. We passed, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Clements, any other evidence or witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
And Ms. Robertson?
No evidence, Your Honor. I would just argue in closing that, Mr. Clements and Mr. Caudill have presented not a single credit card statement, not a single physical credit card in evidence, not a credit card number. We don't know whether these accounts even exist, much less what the balances are or what the balances might have been at the time of marriage. My client is not a party to any sort of lawsuit. Caudill testified that he is the sole defendant in one of the credit card lawsuits. My client's testified under oath that she never had a credit card in her name. She did testify as to when she may have used it. She does not believe that receiving any of that debt would be fair. She does ask for what she's entitled to in terms of the rental money, which would be half of the $450 a month from mid 2018, as well as half of the $1,200 a month on the other property from November of 2017. She would ask that the property in Oklahoma be sold by a mutually agreeable broker, that the broker be able to set the sales price for that Oklahoma property at a fair market value that they determine after running their own analysis, that after 30 days, if the property does not sell, that broker be allowed to appropriately reduce the price to what they believe would be fair market value to help the property sell. We would ask that the property be sold to the first contract within 5% of the listing price, and that any kind of expenses be split 50-50 before the proceeds are.
All right, Mr. Clements?
Your Honor, we agree that a real estate broker should be appointed to list the house. However, we would like to reserve the opportunity that if the broker who they've agreed to has identified what the equity is in the home or what it can be sold for, that if Mr. Caudell could pay Ms. Caudell the amount that the broker would get, that he could possibly keep the property. And we don't know what the equity is going to be. It could be out of his reach, or it could be something that he could do. But we would like to, to be able to possibly purchase the equity from her, something similar or equal to what the real estate broker could do.
Okay.
There's one last thing, Your Honor. We had, Ms. Caudell pled for her name to be changed. So she asks that that be changed as requested in her petition to Tammy Lynn Cullum.
Okay, well, what I'm going to do is if both sides want to submit the name of a broker, and I'll appoint a broker, the broker will set a price and I guess first notify the two parties of what the amount of that price is, and give each party a chance if they want to try to, buy out the other one first, they can do that. If there's a sale, right now we're gonna have any proceeds from the sale after the note is paid off to be paid into the registry of the court, and then see about dividing that up. Gonna have the two parties file a financial information statement within 30 days, so I can take a look at some of those numbers. So I'm going to hold off granting the divorce till we get that information, but at the time the divorce is granted, we'll change the respondent's name to their requested name change. So if right now, if you get a name of a broker, each side get a name of a broker to me, unless the two of you can agree on somebody. And I'll give you 30 days to file the financial information. So let's have that due by, let's have that filed by February 22nd. Right. And like I said, get the name of a broker, and then if necessary, I can talk to the broker and let them know kind of what their assignment is, but I'll need to get a little bit more information before I can divide up all the property. Okay. All right. So anything else today?
No, sir. Thank you.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So like I said, see if you can get me the name of, if the two of you can agree on somebody by the end of the week, that'd be great. If not, then each of you just submit two names to me and I'll pick somebody out of that list. All right. If nothing else, you're all excused.
Thank you.
Thank you. And is the juvenile one going to be a Zoom, or are they coming in? Okay. Okay.
These are separate Zoom meetings.
Okay.
So you go ahead and.
So I exit out of this one.
And let it convert, because I'm gonna need that audio. I don't know if it's gonna do any good.
You're not going to need that audio, but
I wouldn't even want it back.
I'll just go ahead and say convert it. But